Medical experts are emphasizing that for the African Union to achieve its goal of producing 60% of the continent's vaccines by 2040, it will require strong collaboration among member states. Currently, Africa produces less than 1% of its vaccines, highlighting the urgent need for ongoing efforts to boost local manufacturing. Olive Nete with the details.
Vaccines are a cornerstone of public health, saving millions of lives every year. Yet Africa, the world's second largest continent, is home to only 1% of global vaccine production. Professor Leon Mutesa, director of the Center for Human Genetics at the University of Rwanda and a leading expert in immunization and vaccine research, highlights the persistent challenge Africa faces in achieving vaccine self-sufficiency.
We have seen many challenges in Africa, which are just being stratified in different steps that I mentioned. For example, you can just design a mRNA vaccine in this facility and then fail just to test your vaccine in animal models. That means you need animal model facilities where you can test the tolerability, efficacy, and safety of the vaccine. And once it is successful, you jump to the humans. You go through different steps, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. And then this will require the capacity in terms of human skills, but also clinical trial site with the different requirements, international standards to be able just to conduct this assignment.
Africa currently has fewer than 10 vaccine manufacturing facilities, most of which are limited to downstream activities such as packaging, labeling, and occasional fill and finish processes, while the actual vaccine production occurs outside the continent. The African Union, through its partnerships for African vaccine manufacturing, has set an ambitious target to achieve 60% vaccine self-sufficiency by 2040. In response to the challenges exposed by the COVID-19 pandemic, some African countries have taken proactive steps toward this goal. Notably, construction began in Rwanda on BioNTech pharmaceutical and vaccine manufacturing plant, marking a significant milestone in addressing the continent's vaccine production needs. During an official visit to Rwanda, Dr. Tedros Adhanom, Director General of the World Health Organization, emphasized that the BioNTech vaccine manufacturing plant under construction will serve as a crucial solution for Africa's vaccine needs.
And I hope it will be more competitive. Not only vaccine production, it will also create jobs. It will contribute to the economy. By the way, we should not see it as part of just producing vaccines only. It also brings opportunities, economic opportunities, creates jobs and improves the economy. So we should see that. And the commitment from the government to produce vaccines, from my exchanges, including with the president and minister, is exactly that. It's as part of the economic development. It's not just producing vaccines for the case of producing vaccines or just only to address the equity issue. It's more than that. And I'm glad it's, that's the basic principle. And I hope this will contribute to vaccine equity in the future. But we have other initiatives as well.
Medical experts stress that achieving vaccine self-sufficiency in Africa will require significant efforts, including strengthened collaboration among African nations and robust international partnerships. Professor Leon Mutesa underscores the importance of such cooperation in advancing this goal.
In this context, what I would just recommend in this context again is just to have this common partnership like a PAVM partnership, which has been initiated by African Union countries to work together. Because no one will be safe if we are not safe. In this context, for example, we need a very sustainable funding or regular funding going just to support R&D, first, research and development, those who can just think about how we can design a very good vaccine model, and then sustainable funding to support the GMP facility. GMP, these are good manufacturing practice or the vaccine plants to be established. Having one facility here in Rwanda, for example, it won't be enough. Maybe we need to add more, and also outside Rwanda. And number 3, human capacity building is a key. In this context, having some funding just to support some academic institutions, some training institutions, to support the ecosystem for this program. And lastly, having a regular funding to support the infrastructure and equipment. It's not just good only to purchase equipment if you are not going to be able to maintain this equipment. So we should have this program also being supporting this process.
Rwanda remains committed to strengthening preparedness and surveillance systems. Hassan Siwoma, another director of vaccination programs at the Rwanda Biomedical Center, highlights the critical role of vaccines in controlling and preventing epidemics. He also notes some of the measures being taken by the government of Rwanda to ensure vaccination coverage around the country.
We are always prepared. So actually we can't have all vaccines at once in the country. So we are always keeping vaccine based on the epidemiology. So which disease actually can emerge, which infections actually are likely to happen in our country. So that is why we are always focusing on routine vaccines, because actually we know that those outbreaks in children are very deadly. But for new emerging infections, so we always have a framework of actually acquiring vaccines whenever they are needed. So that is why actually if you look at the vaccination program, so we are not working alone. We are always together with UNICEF, with WHO, so that it can be easier also to access vaccines we don't have in the country. Because if I can give the example, there is some vaccines actually can have here in the country. So let us take the example of meningitis. So we know that actually there is some countries actually vaccinating against meningitis in their routine vaccination. But here, we don't vaccinate all meningitis types. So for us, we are only providing Haemophilus influenza vaccine and also pneumococcal vaccine. So those are vaccines which can also protect against meningitis. But there is other types of meningitis in which we are not vaccinating here, because actually we don't have that burden. We don't have actually those cases.
Rwanda has also prioritized building capacity to ensure the proper storage of vaccines, preventing damage and ensuring their effectiveness. According to the data from the Rwanda Biomedical Center, around 370,000 children are born annually in the country, each requiring at least 6 vaccinations. This results in an annual cost between $10 million and $12 million. Additionally, the Africa CDC estimates that Africa needs approximately $50 billion per year to import the medicines and vaccines it requires, given the continent imports 99% of its vaccines. This figure includes operational costs to support procurement, distribution, and the development of local manufacturing capacity. Olive Nete, RTV News.